I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to be ashamed of my physical image when I project my physical image through the camera. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself fear seeing what I look like in the video as what I look like, without hiding my face or any part of my face. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to be ashamed of the way I look. And to feel ashamed of the way I look when I see other people and compare myself to the way they look. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to express myself as who I am within and as the breath, instead of expressing the image that I want others to perceive as myself. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to be ashamed of my self-expression as who I am within and as here. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to create an image of myself which I recite in my mind and which I express as the part of me that I like when I am questioned by people, when I am being within a communication with other people. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to seclude myself within a tiny area within my mind, in fear of everything else within my mind that I see as being greater than me. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to believe that who I am, as who I have accepted and allowed myself to be, is related to a very small area within my mind, to which I nurture myself, to which I color within myself. in fear of all of the voices and of all of the experiences that I had in the past, which are still nagging me to this day, telling me that I am not equal to them. Voices from the past which are telling me that I am less than them. Thus I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to hide from those voices and in fear of facing those voices. And to cower within a tiny little atom space-like area within my mind, where I scheme my identity, where I program who I want others to see me as, and where I prepare myself for the moments where I encounter people within which I then express what I have programmed within me as a script that is to be used only when I am in other people's presence, when I am within conversations with other people. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to perceive and believe that who I am is less than everybody else in this world. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to believe and perceive that I am defined by what I do in this world, instead of who I am as a being which is one, as all, as equal, as life. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to doubt my self-expression by picturing myself within my mind as I am speaking those words that I'm speaking here, and by limiting my self-expression to respect the self-image or the preferred angles that I keep within my tiny little room within my mind. A room into which I only see and am aware of all that of myself which I accept. A room which resists and rejects everything else that I do not accept as being one and equal with who I am here. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to be one as all, as equal, within and as the moment. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to believe that my self-expression has to be planned, scripted, and prepared within my mind before I speak a word of myself as myself. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to prepare, to continuously prepare myself for an event, for an opportunity, for a person, for something in the mind, instead of being here within and as breath, as the unconditional self-expression of who I am, as all of who I am within and as the mind, and within and as here. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to separate myself from the mind. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to judge the mind as being less than who I am, as all, as one, as life, as equal. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that I am one and equal with the mind. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to believe that I need to look within and as me in order to find specific points which are within and as the mind, far away in the past. Therefore, inviting confusion. Therefore, looking for something which is not here, but there, instead of seeing that who I am here, within and as the moment, is the totality of the points that I am looking to forgive myself of. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to lose myself into the mind when I am exercising and applying myself through self-forgiveness instead of applying self-forgiveness in relation with who I am here as the breath, instead of there as the mind, as the past, as the ego of the mind. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to be simply here, within and as the breath, instead of being there, within and as the mind. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that who I am as confusion is a specific point that I have accepted and allowed myself to be one and equal to. Therefore, till here no further, I do not accept and allow myself to be confused. Confusion is of the mind. I am not confusion. I am clarity. I am here as clarity. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to project myself into the mind when I feel that I need to defend myself from something out there that I perceive as being a threat to the tiny little space that I have allocated for me, as me, within my mind. In constant rejection of all of that I have expressed as me in the past, which have been received as being unwelcome by others. Thus, I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to reject all of who I am as the self-expression of me from my own allocated space within my mind, and thus enclosing myself, who I am as the self-expression, unconditional, of life, within a fragment of my own mind, instead of accepting and letting go of all of that which I have used in the past to define myself. Till here no further, I do not accept and allow myself to be limited to a definition of myself. Till here no further, I do not accept and allow myself to be directed by a definition of myself, which is a reaction that I have received from the past to which I have enclosed myself either within or without. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to judge some specific expressions of me as being unwelcomed by me as life, as one, as all, as equal. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to accept all of that which I have accepted and allowed myself to be one and equal with who I am unconditionally. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to accept me as who I am in this body, as who I am in this life, as who I am as this space. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to face me for what I have accepted and allowed myself to be. I do not accept and allow myself to hide from all that which I am in fear of the voices of the past, which are within the greater area in the mind that I have refused as being one and equal with me. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to generate a war within my mind between two fractions. One which is who I have accepted and allowed myself to be, which is perceived by the mind as me, as being at the size of an atom, while the other fraction within the mind is perceived as being the rest of the universe, the rest of creation, as that which is one and equal with the unknown. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to fear the unknown as who I am, as here, within and as the moment. The unknown is who I am. The undefined is who I am. I thus forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to be one and equal with the undefined within and as each moment of breath. I am undefined as life, as all, as one, as equal. I am here. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to be afraid of my stillness as an expression of me. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself as the stillness, as me, to express itself as me, as one, as equal, as me, as here, because of the fear of being ridiculed, because of feeling defenseless while I am still, because of feeling vulnerable within and as the stillness, as me. I am vulnerability. I forgive myself that I have allowed myself to imagine the reactions of others towards the video that they are currently watching as the expression of me, as the vulnerability of me, as the openness of me, as the unashamed expression of me. I thus forgive myself that I have allowed myself to seek to be ashamed within the imagination, within my mind, by imagining, picturing the mind moving pictured placements within my mind, which portrays other people looking at this video and judging in their mind that which I do not accept, that which I fear of showing as myself, as who I am, as vulnerability. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to be here, within and as this moment, within and as this breath, instead of always looking for that space within my mind where I feel secure from all of the images that I generate within my mind. In order to give value to that tiny space by generating images of fear, by generating sounds of shame, by generating scenarios of unacceptedness as my self-expression. I am here. Within and out. Breath. Within and out this body. One and equal with every tiny molecules, atoms, quarks of this human physical body. I am the voice of this manifested construct as this human physical body. I am the voice of this human physical body in its totality, all inclusive. Nothing rejected. I am here. I stop the mind.